Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Movie Club UK. This is season 1, episode 8. I'm here again with the wonderful Ash and Fahiz.
What's up?
Guys, how are you finding the last 2 weeks? You know, cinema's been going off recently. How have you been finding it?
So it's been really enjoyable, with Barbie and Oppenheimer just going head to head.
Barbieheimer.
Barbieheimer, it's been great. Watching Barbie and watching Oppenheimer, which we're going to review in a bit.
Yeah.
It's been good. But I definitely have my preference, in terms of what film I enjoyed more.
That is one of my questions to ask you at the end. But it's so nice to see. I said this last week. It's so nice to see people enjoying cinema again.
Yeah. It's refreshing.
People are so excited to go, and I haven't had that in a long time.
Yeah, I feel like it's very refreshing. Like, these two films are very different, but they're both big. I don't even necessarily think because they dropped on the same day. I just somehow feel like even if they drop 2 weeks apart, there'll be comparisons on, which film is going to do better, which film is more popular.
Yeah.
We've obviously heard good things by critics on both before the film's released to both of us. So it's interesting to see, how everything's panned out. Now we've seen both of them. It's going to be interesting getting into it today. But as normal, guys, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and what's the other one? I always forget the other one. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. That's the one. Guys, be active on Twitter, man. Twitter's a bit quiet right now, man. Be active on Twitter. But
it's because Elon is ruining the
Elon's
X on X.
it's called X.
X
No, it's not
now,
even
yeah.
called Twitter anymore. It's called X. But yeah, you could follow us on all our socials. Also, like I said, there was a giveaway for 100 subscribers. I said we will announce it on this episode, but before this episode comes out, we would announce it separately on our socials to say who's won. What they had to do was subscribe, like, comment, and share, and then they would have been in with a chance to win tickets to Every Man's. No, it wasn't tickets, actually. It was a £50 gift voucher. So if you like buy tickets, if you like buy food, do whatever you want. But a gift voucher to Every Man's Cinema. So yeah, the winner will be announced before the video comes out. But we appreciate you guys. Thanks for subscribing. We're going to push to 150 next.
Let's go.
Yeah, numbers just going to keep going up. So yeah, we appreciate the support. So thanks, guys. But yes, for our Ash Breakers, as usual, what do you have for us today, Ash?
Okay, so I don't know about anyone else, but I left Oppenheimer. I won't get into my thoughts yet, but I left Oppenheimer and I basically was really excited to go home, watch loads of videos on the history of it. And then I went into a YouTube wormhole. And then I just
You couldn't get out?
Kept watching videos and started watching videos about nuclear war. Okay. And what could happen if World War III breaks out. So then I started looking into buying an underground bunker in my garden. But that's beside the
bunker.
I thought about that before. I can't lie. I have thought about that one.
It's about 80 grand. So
do you know when I first, I think when I watched Narnia, do you remember the first scene in Narnia where there's bombs in the World War before? Have you not watched Narnia?
I've watched Narnia.
Lions, Witch in the Wardrobe?
I've watched
You
Narnia.
haven't watched that?
I've watched Narnia. You ain't watched Narnia, though.
No.
You look like a Narnia watcher. How can you not watch Narnia?
That's definitely a bit of her.
But the opening scene in that is when they're running from the house to the bunker.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's in my mind. I was thinking, as a kid, what would I have taken in there? That was my first thought. But yeah.
Okay, so if you guys if anything happened, God forbid, and you did have an underground bunker, you have to, put some items in there just in case.
Yeah.
I want to know what exactly you would have in there.
How many items?
I did ask you guys just to have a think about it.
Yeah.
So first of all, you get bored in an underground bunker. You have a TV set up in there.
Yeah.
You have free DVDs.
Okay.
No signal.
Oh, no.
Free
Okay,
DVDs
that's why you said, okay, yeah.
that you can bring.
Yeah.
What are you bringing?
I know what I'm bringing.
I know what I'm bringing as well.
Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, that's crazy.
No,
Why is it? That's crazy.
That is not what
Rush Hour.
The whole
Rush Hour.
You're not getting out of this place.
Rush Hour.
But you want to rush.
Do you know how many times I've rushed? That's a rush.
Watched.
Do you know how many times I've watched Rush Hour, bro?
I could imagine over and over again. I could imagine.
Okay, cool. 1 and 2, Harry Potter Goblet of Fire.
But definitely what Rush Hour 1 and 2.
100%.
We have a similar. Definitely not Rush Hour. Yeah. That didn't come to mind.
But the Harry Potter came to mind.
I said Harry Potter Goblet of Fire, and I said, and I was going back and forth, but I was like, let me just throw in all the Harry Potters. I can only bring 3. So I said Goblet of Fire, Deathly Hallows Part 2, and I said The Chamber of Secrets.
So why were you getting onto him about Rush Hour? I thought you were getting onto him because it's the same thing, but you're doing the same thing.
At least Rush Hour's comedy.
More
Got some
because
Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker, and that. You know,
I can't
don't
talk too much
think
of Harry
if
Potter.
I was in an
because I
underground
watch it.
bunker, I don't think I'd want to put on Rush Hour. I can't imagine that putting me in
That's
a good
true
mood.
as well, but I thought you were going down the path. There's no variety. I thought that's what you was.
It's okay.
I feel like she was getting at me.
Okay, since you have so much variety.
I do have variety. I said Wolf of Wall Street because
that's a good one. That's
It's
a
long
good
as
one.
well.
It's
yeah,
long.
that movie has replay value. It's long,
Yeah, it does.
and every time you watch it, the older you get, the different things you see. If that makes sense. I had The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan film. So yeah, I had that. I love The Dark Knight.
Nice.
That was a very, very good film for me. And surprisingly, Coach Carr.
You know what? That's a good one.
Have you watched Coach Carr?
Of course I have, bro.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of. You
Coach
need to watch
Carr.
it properly.
Coach Carr is
It's cold.
It's cold.
It's cold. I've watched it. That's a movie I could say I've watched time and time and time again, and I don't get bored. So
I say for me, that's the top 5 film. In my books. So
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
actually really good choices. We need to become a bit more imaginative.
I'm not gonna lie to you, like Rush Hour 1 and 2
Nah,
is
man.
sensational. I need people in the comments to back me on this one,
Nah,
anyway,
guys,
because
tell him about Rush Hour.
because man, are trying to have me looking silly. Rush Hour 1 and 2 is sensational.
we
If you
got
know about
Rush
Chris
Hour.
Tucker,
We got Rush Hour and we got Harry Potter.
Okay. Going on to so you got you're gonna need stuff to eat. You probably have your perishable meals,
Yeah.
but some snacks, free snacks that you would bring.
you wanna go first this time?
This was hard for me. Yeah. The only thing that I could guarantee, I said, was fried dumplings. I like the Caribbean people's dumplings. I love it. That's definitely one snack I'll definitely bring. You looked at me like,
Oh no, more. I was just thinking like crisps and stuff like that because we're in an underground bunker. Where are you gonna fry these dumplings?
it's already fried though.
They're going to.
But in my mind, okay,
it's there for weeks.
okay, it's true. But in my mind, I'm thinking I had an unlimited supply. Unrealistically, I shouldn't have thought that. But like, in my mind, I was thinking there would just be like a supply of anything that we wanted. Like, so yeah, I said dumplings. There's gonna be a weird one. I said pink lady apples.
Nice.
I love pink lady apples. Like,
Got a healthy one there. I'll give you that.
Exactly. And I think the last one was, you might look at me weird again, pepperami.
That's okay. I
give you that.
It's a nice little meal,
pepperami.
but I'm just like 2 out of 3 of those things are going moldy before like the week's over.
I didn't know
And
we had to
might
think
be
this
there.
like realistic, by the way. I just thought it was just anything of your choice that you like. But okay, if I had to think realistically, I'd probably change it. But okay, fair enough.
Snacks that I would bring. Well, one of them would definitely be like I'm definitely taking like a packet of sweets. So Haribo's, what's the is it Fantastic?
Yeah.
I'll take that one. The second one I would take is avocados. I love avocados, even though
I love avocados.
It could be moldy and that, like Ash said, but damn, avocados are just such a good fat.
I wouldn't take it as my free, but I love
would
avocado.
not take it as my free.
I love avocado though.
And then lastly, what would I take? Lastly, I would take can I take fried chicken? Because he took dumplings.
I took fried dumplings.
You
so
guys
take
are gonna
fried
get
chicken.
so ill in this underground bunker with all this moldy food, but that is
It's
fine.
not going to be, that was not the question. It's not going to be moldy. The food is going to be great, unlimited supply. It's going to be fresh. There's going to be like a fridge there. There's going to be a microwave there. There's going to be like...
It's Aussie's Breakers now.
Yeah. I'm telling you what's going to be in there. But
Okay, as controversial, sparkling water, unlimited supply. I love sparkling water.
Huh?
I love sparkling water.
yeah, you're bugging out.
Unlimited
What's
supply
going
of
on
sparkling
here?
water.
You're the only person that I know that have said that. Sparkling water, I'll give you a pass if you were to, let's say, dilute it with like Vimto, because then you get fizzy Vimto, and it actually slaps. Try it. If you've not tried
Yeah,
sparkling
that is
water
nice.
and like some sort of Vimto or something like that, or even if you have orange squash, it turns it into Fanta. Trust me, try that. But sparkling water on its own,
man, I've tried that. That's
criminal.
I would say,
out my
like-
mouth, man.
Really?
I don't like
even mixing it.
I hate
you
sparkling
serious?
water.
Yeah,
I hate it,
bugging
man.
It's the best
I like my
type of
normal.
drinks.
Why water shouldn't be fizzy? Why is water fizzy?
I hear it. I hear it because I
used
won't
to
drink it by
hate
myself.
Sparkling water, but we had a heat wave like in like 2018. All the shops ran out of water. There was only sparkling water in my house.
Available.
I had to get on board, and now I love it and I drink it every day. I said Paprika Max. You know the Max Chris. I don't know. Really.
Wait,
like
so
them.
you said sparkling water, as in you're going to take it with you?
Yeah. I would drink it every day.
You know that silence there, like that silence of disappointment, like. Okay. God damn.
Okay, Paprika Max, and I also said Haribo Star Mix. So
okay.
Okay, and lastly, let's say 3 albums that you would take. You've got a record player in there. We don't know how long we're going to be there, so 3 albums we're going to take. I knew Fahis wouldn't have done his homework.
No. I need to find the name of the album. So one of them is LMA's debut album.
Oh yeah, the one that had Trip on it.
You got a girlfriend.
Oh, what's it called? Is it called?
What call it? By Chris Brown. That's the song that's in there.
Is the album just called LMA? Or what's it called?
No, it's called. I'm gonna find it. I'm not gonna lie to you because her album is sensational.
I know what he's talking about.
It's called. Whoa, yeah, it's called LMA.
Yeah, it's called LMA. That's what I'm saying. I know what he's talking about. Yeah, it's called LMA.
I'll take that one. I would also take. Don't take this the wrong way, but I'm taking Tory Lanez's Chicks tape for.
Anyway, next one.
sorry. I know that
Cancel.
I know that boy in jail, but
cancel.
Hey man, and Usher Confessions.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, some good choices.
Come
some
on, man.
good choices.
I got good taste. If you want a playlist, shout me on that. I got you.
I think me. Who did I go with? I went with Meek Mill Championships. That's my guy. I went with that album. I think that's his best album, so I never get bored of that one. I went WizKid Made in Lagos. That's just a vibe setter, like literally a vibe setter. So I'm definitely, those are my solid 2s. The last one now, it just depends on the mood. So I either got space for one more rap album or space for an R&B album. So I was fighting between, this is a recent one, Potter Paper's album, his most recent, no, not his most recent one, Training Day 3. It's actually a mixtape. Okay. I think I heard it way after it came out. And I was like, you know when you find music and you're like, this was this good, and nobody decided to tell me about this. And people are, oh, you're not listening to the streets, man. I just didn't know about it. And then when I heard it, I was like, this is so good. So that and Summer Walker, Over It. Ooh. If I was to go in the R&B side of things. So yeah, those I'm fighting, but yeah, those are mine.
Okay.
What about yours?
You guys had better picks because I can't lie, I just fumbled and
it's a hard question.
It's a hard
question.
If I wasn't gonna put LMA in there, I would have put Kalani. I think that album was good. It was good until it wasn't.
Oh, the one where she's standing on top of yeah.
That one's a very good album.
Okay, I was thinking again, if I'm stuck down there for 8 weeks, I can't take anything that's going to annoy me if I listen to it too much. I picked Beyonce B-Day because I can listen to that for a while. This is really controversial and I regret it now that you guys have made your picks.
B-Day, is that the one to the left? Is that on there?
Oh, I don't know. Is that not Rihanna?
I couldn't even.
Wait.
To the left.
No, Irreplaceable.
Irreplaceable, yeah.
Sorry.
What?
Sorry. Let's move on.
Beehive.
Sorry. I'm so sorry, Beehive. Don't come for me. This is really controversial. Again, I don't even like this album, but Drake, More Life, hear me out, because it's so there's so much variety.
There is.
That I can put on a different vibe every day. And then I picked a Travis Scott.
Oh no.
Days Before Rodeo.
Oh no.
Before
oh, no.
Back in the day, Days Before Rodeo. If you know, you know.
Nah, I've never been a Travis Scott fan like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't lie, none of these albums are in my faves. It was just
so why they here?
I was down this YouTube rabbit hole and I was freaking out and I was like, let me just pick some music off the top of my head that's not going to annoy me.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't even know what that means, man.
Fair enough, but I thought we were going by albums where you're just like, you know when you hear it, just like, this is my comfort place.
My comfort place.
I thought that's what you were doing. No?
No. Okay, and then I did say a special item, if you guys can think of one quickly.
To take with us?
Yeah, I picked a pack of cards.
PS5.
My phone.
No Wi-Fi, no data. We're in an underground
you better
bunker.
take that PS5 so you can at least play some FIFA or something.
Yeah, you're right. Probably a console, PS5.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Yeah, that was some good ash breakers, to be honest. Like, you know, if I wouldn't say if Oppenheimer was here, but if in the times of Oppenheimer and this was a thing where we were threatened with an atomic bomb or a nuclear weapon or something like that, that would be very interesting to see how we would respond to it. I mean, I'll definitely invest in 80. Did you say 80,000?
80,000.
I'll definitely invest in the 80,000 bunker. I'll find the money from somewhere, or just dig it and make it myself. You know. So that was really good. Thanks for that.
Thanks.
So yeah, we'll quickly move on to. I'll give you just a short synopsis of Oppenheimer. That's the film that we are reviewing, and then from there we'll get into it. So the synopsis says, during World War II, General Leslie Groves appoints J. Robert Oppenheimer to work on the top secret Manhattan Project. Oppenheimer and a team of scientists spend years developing and designing the atomic bomb. Their work comes to fruition on July the 16th, 1945, as they witness the world's first nuclear explosion, forever changing the course of history. So yeah, that is our synopsis of Oppenheimer. We are now going to be breaking it down. We're now going to be breaking it down and getting into it. So if you haven't watched it, this next part will contain spoilers. So please stop, pause, and come back when you have seen it. So guys, like we always do, let's get into it. First of all, let me just say, Oppenheimer, I did not know was a person.
I didn't know he was a person. I didn't even know he existed.
I thought
this is really disappointing.
No, I didn't know it was a person. What I thought was that the name atomic bomb was too simple for all of us to understand, yeah. But I thought the name of the bomb of the Mazzolini was called Oppenheimer. That's what I thought. So when I saw the title, I thought the bomb was called Oppenheimer, not that it was actually a person called Oppenheimer. So,
Okay, I didn't think that.
that's what I thought anyway. So let me just start off by saying that. So I was wrong. But yeah, guys, plot.
Yeah, no, it was a good film. I can't lie to you. I didn't really know too much about Robert Oppenheimer up until like I watched it on Saturday.
Yeah.
And it was very, very interesting. You know, it was really about the rise and fall of the father of the atomic bomb, as they call it.
Father of the atomic bomb.
You know, you really saw the good, the bad, and the ugly. In practically every single scene, you know, it was insane. Like I can't lie to you, you know. And you know what made this film even better for me, like it had no CGI, so it just made the plot, because there was a lot of dialogue in this plot.
Yeah.
You really had to lock in.
Yeah, you did.
Lock in and listen to it. So
Yeah.
it was sensational. It was a hard watch, 3 hours, but I thought for what. Because it obviously was based on a true story. Yeah. It's based on a biopic.
Yeah. So it's almost like would you say biography? Or it's almost like, biopic anyway. So it's the world of Oppenheimer, and we're seeing him basically grow in this film. And it's a different sort of Christopher Nolan film that we're used to. It's very, very different. He's never done a biopic before. Yeah. So this was very interesting to see how it played out.
And isn't this also his second or first R-rated film? Because apparently he hasn't done one in like.
Was this R-rated? I mean, R-rated, I saw a couple of scenes, but
it's R-rated, yeah.
I think we're so desensitized now. Like we just, for me, that was not. Yeah. Yeah, that was 15. I don't know. I don't know 15. So I don't know, but I would say in terms of the plot, I really enjoyed the story. I really did enjoy the story. We got to see the world from Oppenheimer's lenses. We start off when I think he was a student in Cambridge or something like that. Yeah. And we can see the world through his eyes. And he seems like a very clever young man, but one thing that is weighing down on him, I think, was mathematics. He just wasn't great at mathematics, and that was something that gave him anxiety. At the start, we even see him like try to poison his lecturer with that apple. Yeah. And you're just thinking, what kind of character do we have here? What's going on?
You saw so many different personality traits of Robert Oppenheimer throughout the whole film.
Yeah. Mad. So from how they started it, you just really wanted to get into his personality and actually understand him. So I did like how the plot kind of carried us through his life journey. I feel like where the film actually got to making sense for me is when he wanted to, was it study quantum physics? Is it quantum physics? Yeah, that's where it changed everything, because that's when it's like, oh, this man is establishing something that's new, something that's not established before, something that's not the trend, something that nobody knows about. he's literally doing it. To see him teach a class with one pupil shows the type of man he was. And for the film just to show how like ballsy like
he was,
I just rated it personally. I rated it a lot. I would say it didn't really take many interesting turns. It was very like
not
plain
really,
sailing all the way through. When it was about to go bad for him, you could tell when it was about to go bad for him. There was no like real shockers there, but overall I think it was a very good story.
Yeah, I think it was a good story. It was kind of split up into 3 parts. The beginning was like his life, and you just get to know him as a person.
Yeah.
The middle bit is when he's in Los Alamos and he's building the
Manhattan Project, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the Manhattan Project, and he's leading up to the Trinity test, and in that Trinity test, it's like 2 parts of the film.
Yeah.
Before
and after.
Before he ruined the world. After.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how long, because it was a 3-hour film. That before and after, did you know how much before did we see, or was it equal? As in, was the Trinity test the middle point in the film, or did we see more of the film before?
I think we saw more of the film
before, because after
it was about 2 hours.
Yeah, and then probably the last hour they focused on the afters, right?
Aftermath.
It was a lot of like government stuff after like the first 2 hours.
Yeah. So overall, it was a good plot. I think the last 2 films that we've done, I haven't been impressed with the plot, but you can't really call this one a plot if it's a biopic, can you?
Yeah, because you kind of know the basis already, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's hard to criticize because it's so close to the source material.
Yeah,
from what I've researched, so close. Yeah, that it's hard to actually say it was a bad plot. It was. And it's his
life. You can't call his life a bad life, can you? It's just the way they portrayed his life. You can't say, oh, it's a bad. No, so not at all.
It's crazy though. Like he was a scientist, but like the way he was moving, like at the beginning, like not even the beginning, the middle bit when he was doing the Manhattan Project, like you'd think this guy was like a militant, bro. Yeah, but he really wasn't, and
or a politician.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like there was a point where his attitude just changed because you know it's like when you create something that special, that unique, you know the government's gonna take over. Yeah, you know, they're gonna toss you to the side, and there was a bit. I don't know if you remember the quote. He said like. It was in relation to like having blood on his hands, you know, and I was thinking like, damn, like this is how he really feels.
Because are you talking about that scene? He had a scene with President Truman. Where he actually had the conversation in the White House.
Truman is annoying.
He was so annoying. But Truman was basically saying that at the end of the day, you made it, but I'm the one that pressed to pull the trigger. So I'm the one that's in charge. You don't talk about getting blood on your hands. It's me. So I think Truman tried to take that pressure off him. But the more research that I did, apparently, I don't think the movie showed it as well, but apparently Oppenheimer was a mess. So when he went to meet Truman, he was like in an emotional like state.
Yeah,
like,
of course. Like
I've done something like really bad. This is all on me and all that kind of stuff.
Because imagine thinking that you're trying to make the world a better place. Because I'm sure that was his original plan. You successfully did it, but it just made things worse.
Did it? I think there's a thing. I feel like. For a smart guy, I don't know how he didn't see it coming.
It's a hard one because he thought that he was trying to stop the Nazis.
Yes,
and that's what building the bomb was. But
what? Because they had one, or
because they were. It was rumors that they were on their way to create a nuclear weapon. Yeah. But it's almost, this is something I saw in a comment that by making the bomb, he almost stopped. We're all so scared now of nuclear weapons. Yeah. And we know exactly what happened in Hiroshima. We know exactly what could happen. So it's almost stopped the use of nuclear weapons by using a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, but then that was part of his campaign at the end, seeing what the bomb could do in Hiroshima and it was in Nagasaki, or how you say it? Yeah. Seeing what it did there, I think to him, it was just like, no more. We see how powerful this is. If they get one, if another country gets one, and we're all using it on each other, then it's long. It's basically the end of humanity. Yeah. But I just think at the time they didn't see it like that, the way he saw it, and they thought that he was obviously opposing the government and he was a communist, at heart, and they just plotted on him to bring him down.
But didn't he leave the party though, wasn't it?
He was never part.
But his brother was a part of it.
Yeah,
but that's
I think
literally what they used against him a lot of the time.
I think what they used against him was his wife was part of the party before they were married. She was part of the party, and then his mistress was part of the party. Like I don't think she left. Did she leave? I think she was.
I think she.
Are you
left
talking about
after.
Jen? Is her name Jen?
Jean, yeah. She was part of the party, and I think that the ties that he had. So he wasn't in it, but he was around it. It's just enough excuse for someone to say, "Show me who your friends are, and I know who you are." If he's hanging around with loads of communists,
especially for Americans as well.
Exactly. So it's gonna make him look like one, but to himself, he was never one. He was
No, finish what you're saying.
Oh yeah, he was never one, and I think that's what they used to bring him down. At the end of the day, it was kind of sad when he lost his security clearance.
Yeah, that was, man. He waited so long for that, for that. But I wanted to add like Strauss.
Oh yeah. Obviously, we'll get onto him when we're talking about actors, but he's part of the plot.
I just want to play that part. Like I don't know how much screen time Strauss had, but he was so. I feel like he was so important to this plot.
Yeah, of course he was.
He was so mad. Like. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah,
but he was just so lit, personally.
Yeah, I don't know if this comes in talking about Strauss, but the end scene with Oppenheimer and Einstein, definitely in my top 3 scenes, where we spent the whole movie thinking
what was the discussion?
Yeah, that Oppenheimer, he was like being a bit pompous. He was talking about Strauss behind his back, and actually, like that was kind of a big reveal when you actually. It was a good twist.
But did that start? So Strauss, I know. Him and Oppenheimer were, could you say, cool at the start? Would you say that discussion with Einstein messed everything up?
I guess I think it did, because they come like as if Strauss just jumped to conclusions and then just ran with it. He didn't even ask like Oppenheimer what was said or anything like that, because you saw it even when I'm skipping really far ahead now, but even when Strauss is the guy that was with Strauss in the courts a lot of the time. Even he said, do you even know if they were talking about you?
Yeah.
It's like, bro, like, exactly, like, come on, man, you're all doing the same.
I can't believe, because I was discussing this with my boy earlier. I can't believe that incident there made Strauss have such a vendetta for Oppenheimer.
I guess he thought. Go. No.
Apparently, it's that Oppenheimer embarrassed him in one of those black and white meetings.
Oh yeah.
That's what apparently it was, but that wasn't super clear to me at the time. But
Sorry, I hit my wrist.
That wasn't super clear to me at the time, which is a criticism of the movie. Is just that beginning
Wasn't
bit.
it the hydrogen bomb, innit? He was against the hydrogen bomb.
He was against the hydrogen bomb as well. That was another thing that was leading to their tension.
Yeah.
But when you're just talking about criticisms of the film, one of the criticisms of the plot is that there's so many conversations that are happening through this movie that I don't know, was it me, but I couldn't hear.
The audio
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
This is a common complaint about Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys watched Tenet. Did you ever
yeah,
watch Tenet?
that confused me, man.
I could not hear. I went with my uncle, my brother, my sister. At the end, we all turned to each other like, could you hear 50% of that movie? They all said no.
No.
It's a common criticism of Christopher Nolan. His sound is just off.
Because I'm noticing that important conversations are being had between people. You could tell by facial expressions, by like the way people position themselves. And I'm like, what did they say?
Like you missed it.
You missed it, but then before you try to process and unpack it, they've started something else, and you don't want to miss that. So it's like a lot of jumping for a long time with the film. So that's a criticism from me that I couldn't. There's some places that I couldn't really follow because the conversations were either I'm sure they weren't quiet, but I just didn't hear him. I don't know how to explain it, guys. I just didn't hear him. I heard him and I didn't hear him at the same time. I just don't know. But that's one of my criticisms with it. But otherwise, it's a very, very steady showcase of Oppenheimer's life, and I was impressed.
My only criticism of it would be that the scenes were just so quick, and the audio, like you said, it wasn't really the greatest. Yeah. Like next thing as soon as they finished talking, gone to the next scene. Yeah. Easy. It was just quick. And I've watched a lot of reviews, and that was literally a common thing. Like the scenes were just so fast. Like this is one of the ones you might have to watch it again to kind of really understand.
But it's 3 hours.
So 3 hours, so it ain't happening.
So like, I know later we probably talk about rewatchability, but come on, like 3 hours.
3 hours.
It's unless
film of the year though.
It could be. Unless I'm going into like some sort. I wanted to have an intellectual conversation about the atomic bomb and really dig back into Oppenheimer's life outside of this review, then I ain't watching it again.
Okay, we're gonna talk about it later, but I am.
Okay.
On that
In the
as
cinema?
well. No.
That's a
I
home
won't
thing.
say.
That's a home thing.
In next year, I'll watch it again. But another thing, just about how quick the scenes were, is just a lot of the relationships weren't established properly for me.
Yeah.
And now when I'm talking to you guys, I can't lie, I'm probably gonna say, oh yeah, that guy that Oppenheimer met on the train, that guy that was in his class, that guy that wanted to do the hydrogen bomb. Like, I actually don't know who these people were because it was so quick. There's no proper.
No, I agree. I feel like there was far too many characters involved, but obviously it's somebody's life, so there's going to be so many people involved. But the amount of characters that were involved, it did confuse me in the end when trying to establish these relationships with who's who, even his brother. Like, I can't even tell you how his brother looked like now.
I know how his brother looked like only because I've seen him in a TV show.
I can't tell you that. I can't.
He's in you, bro. He's in you.
He's in you.
Yeah.
He's not Joe, is he?
It's not Joe, but you see, I think it's season 3, the guy that's on Love. The team, that guy, remember? Love killed the mother.
Let's not even take it out far. I can't even remember. Sorry if we spoiled you for you, but yeah, that's Fiz's fault. But yeah, there was just far too many characters in this one that I couldn't really focus, and it's going to take a lot of research, a lot of digging, a lot of, like you said, watching back for things to make sense. But once things are watched back, this is an incredible film.
100%, I agree.
That's what I definitely say about that. If we move on to the characters, like I said, there was many characters, many actors in this film. Surprisingly, it's not surprising because he's a great director, but Christopher Nolan has loads of people on ropes.
Absolutely.
He has loads of actors on ropes.
He does.
Actors want to act for this guy. Like, they really do.
Did you see Matt Damon basically said that him and his wife was in couples therapy?
Yeah.
And he had one. His wife said, "I want you to stop working as much as you do," and he said, "Yeah, fine, but I have one caveat, which is that I will only work if Christopher Nolan calls
me." Yeah. And I think Christopher Nolan, I heard the story, Christopher Nolan not dropped him. They've been in quite a few films together, but Christopher Nolan hadn't shouted him for a while. Like, I think the last 4 or 5 films, maybe, he just hadn't shouted him. So he's not thinking, he's saying, yeah, unless Christopher Nolan calls him, not knowing that he's actually going to call him. And yeah, they had to go through the whole therapy thing, and he just had to really kind of, I would say, beg to kind of be on it. So yeah, that's a bit crazy. But yeah, Matt Damon, who did he play again? Oh, he played General Leslie
Groves.
General Leslie. He was one of my favorite characters.
I loved him. It just suited him, that whole military look.
He just gave me so much assurance, that character, when I saw him. I think I enjoyed when he was recruiting Oppenheimer at the start, and he was trying to figure out who Oppenheimer was. As he was trying to figure out Oppenheimer, it was giving us more answers ourselves about who Oppenheimer was to us. So I think he did a really great job. I think Matt Damon, he's Jason Bourne, isn't it?
And he's in Air as well.
He's in Air. Yeah. But when I saw him, my mind just went Jason Bourne. So
I hear you.
Yeah, he was really good. I was very happy with his performance. Who else can we touch on?
We got to touch on Robert Downey Jr., man.
Robert Downey Jr. Who we're leaving Cillian Murphy for last.
We'll leave him for last, but Robert Downey Jr., what a guy.
Ash Strauss.
What a guy. I don't know what it was. His deliverance. Like, I could, when he's talking, I can feel it.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, this, especially when the pressure's on.
Yeah.
When it flipped towards the end, and the pressure was getting onto him when, what's his name came in? I think it was David Hill.
Yeah.
When he came into the courtroom. I said, well,
yeah,
let's get along now. And I said, this guy's he's sensational.
I think someone's a good actor when you can't fathom them a little bit playing 2 different roles. So obviously I know Robert Downey Jr. as we both do, Iron Man. Like, that's how we know him. I looked at this guy not even thinking.
It took me a minute to realize
it was him.
It took me a minute.
Do you know what I mean? I didn't even think of Iron Man in my head. I think it was literally towards some part of the film. Wait,
that's my man.
Yeah, that's literally what it took. And he was so good in this film. The way he displayed Strauss. I think at the start he was not a major figure at the start, but definitely the second half of the movie was his.
I wouldn't be surprised if Robert Downey Jr. gets an award for his role in this, because it was absolutely sensational.
Yeah.
If it wasn't Robert Oppenheimer, then it was Cillian Murphy, then it has to be him.
Yeah,
it has to be him, man. He was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, but Cillian is the real star.
Yeah,
by the way, he's the real star.
The real star of the show.
We know him from Peaky Blinders. I'm not sure if you've watched it.
Yeah,
I've watched like 2 episodes.
Yeah, I've watched 2 episodes. Don't worry.
I've watched most of it. Or whatever.
Don't worry. Yeah, I watched 2 episodes as well. But that's where I familiarized his face from, Peaky Blinders. And this was my first like actual showcase of seeing. He's been in quite a few Christopher Nolan films.
He's been in 6.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in 6. They've worked together. 6? I thought it was 5.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Dunkirk.
Yep.
Inception.
Interstellar. Was he in that?
He wasn't in that.
No. Did you say Dark Knight?
The 3 of the Dark Knights. I thought it was just 1.
It was 3 then.
I found that out today.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, they obviously have a good relationship there, but I think this was the first one where Christopher Nolan said, "Yo, I want you to lead this."
Yeah.
The other ones he's just been side characters, but this one, and I don't. The way we spoke about Margaret Robbie playing Barbie is the same way Cillian Murphy and Oppenheimer. Even when I'm looking at some pictures of actual,
he looks like Oppenheimer a little
yeah,
bit.
you can see the resemblances there, and
I was saying it's the eyes a lot of the time.
Whoever gave him them eyes, if it's his mum or it's his dad, like he has to credit them, because I'm sure his eyes have given him half of the career that he's had
for real
so far. I'm sure his eyes have given him that, because the way you can just read things in his eyes, they tell a story in itself. And I think in a few of the scenes, they actually go into his eyes, and you start seeing like the physics and all that kind of stuff like behind the eyes. And obviously, before I've seen the film, I've seen so many memes of Oppenheimer before I've actually watched it. I've seen memes where he pulls that serious face once they've done the Trinity test, and his face is almost like like that face. That I've seen so many memes saying when you do this, and like you realize. And yeah, he's just so good in this film. I think in terms of how can I say this? In terms of just making you believe that he's Oppenheimer, like to the true in his truest form. Like he got me. So I think he'll definitely probably get an award for this one.
He's definitely getting an award for this.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That performance alone, for me, is the best I've seen this year.
Really?
A film. Can anyone tell me a better performance than what my man has done in this film?
I think he was incredible, but I think he's
so good, bro.
He's so good in everything he does, and he's so good that it's easy to overlook him. When I came out of the cinema, I was talking about Robert Downey Jr. I was talking about Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
I wasn't completely, but he was so good that he gets overlooked sometimes in my head. But yeah, he'll 100% get a nomination. Yeah, I hope so. Anyway,
I hope he does, because he was really good.
That, man.
But you just said Emily Blunt. She played Kitty, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it said that she was actually on some BBC drama called The English and the Girl on the Train, and that won a BAFTA. She won a BAFTA, sorry.
I never heard of that.
I've never heard of that as well.
Crazy,
but
the Girl on the Train.
Big up her.
Yeah,
man.
I've never heard of that. Maybe I'll watch it one day, maybe not. But she's won a BAFTA for that. Christopher Nolan had so many actors in this film that have won so many awards. And I don't know how he got these actors just to play side characters.
He had actors in there that was in there for one scene. I think Truman, I forgot his name. Harry Truman is played by Gary Oldman, who is one of the highest grossing actors in the world.
Really?
And yeah, his films have grossed like 11 billion.
And he literally just played like, if we want to count screen time, I'm sure it's not even 10 minutes.
It's so mad that Christopher Nolan is just so respected in the industry, man. It's crazy. Cause like his pool is like Chelsea's pool.
Okay.
Like,
anyway,
Chelsea pool. Okay, yeah.
Sorry, Liverpool fans.
He's one of the few directors that are actually bigger than the movie and
itself.
the actors themselves. Like when you came out of this, no one was talking about all the actors. They were talking about Christopher Nolan.
Yeah. I think he's one of the directors that he can ask for request any budget and they'll give it to him, and they won't even question him. He could request any budget and they wouldn't even question him, because what he would do with that budget is brilliant. So yeah, the acting from everyone, A1. I don't think there's one person that I could say they weren't great, they weren't believable. I mean, nobody really fluffs their lines in films because you know how many times they shoot it. But in terms of getting us to believe, everyone was on point.
Everyone was on point.
And can I just make a quick point about Emily Blunt? I thought she was I thought she was good. She had one of the best scenes in the movie, the interrogation scene.
Yeah.
She was insane there.
Yeah,
however, I do have an issue.
Or after she found out about the affair?
This was after.
It was towards the end.
Okay.
However, I have a big issue with her character, which is that even though it was perfectly acted, super inconsistent character writing from start to finish.
Okay, as in like
in the beginning, she's pretty normal.
Mm-hmm.
Then she becomes a mother. She's deranged and like
yeah.
Then-
No,
then
she's
then
right.
She's
She's right.
like really paranoid that she throws a glass at Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
really
yeah.
paranoid. And then by the end, she's like in that interrogation scene, she's quick.
Yeah, like even with Oppenheimer, like, you know, going through his case or whatever, she was telling him the place, why are you doing this? What's this for?
Yeah.
Like, she was almost the man of the house when it came to that. So I do get that, because I was confused. Like, for a long time I was thinking, is this still the same wife?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a timeline, isn't it? So, you know, but obviously, because they're just going back, you know, they're going back in history to kind of obviously just recall certain events, isn't it? So, but obviously, by the time that he's in that interrogation room, maybe a few years has passed.
It has, but I couldn't
innit?
tell you like there was no consistency in her character for me. And then there was something that did bother me, was Oppenheimer giving away the kid
Yeah, that was
to his
I
brother.
didn't get
And
that.
you don't even see, I feel like that's a scene that could have been cut out, because you don't even see her reaction to it.
It's
You don't see
unnecessary.
how that affected their marriage.
They're just like,
you don't see.
you got to take the kid.
Yeah, it was just, I guess, to show that he wasn't that present as a father. I think that was the only thing, but I thought it was a bit of a weird scene.
I think also when we talk about characters, Cillian Murphy and even Oppenheimer itself as a man, it was so real. Like, okay, he's the father of the atomic bomb, but he's not Jesus. He's not perfect. He's not, you know, like this. You know, when we're used to like celebrities or famous people not being real, so they don't have like human characteristics or traits where they mess up and they do things wrong.
Yeah.
Like, this guy was literally, I wouldn't say a womanizer, but he had a whole affair. He had contradicting thoughts within himself. Like, you could see the contradiction within him. And there's loads of people that have this, but because some people are famous or people have made it, we somehow think, oh, he had a blueprint in his head of how he wanted his life to be like, and it's happened. But we could see through this how this guy was a walking contradiction half the time. He did something and then regretted it instantly and did something. Like, he was just up and down. And the way that was shown to us was like, wow, this guy's actually, he's not really that special. His mind is special, but everything else around, I think there was one scene where he was talking with General Leslie, and I think General Leslie said, we didn't pick you because of your brains or something like that. And he basically said, like, we can get smart people everywhere, but there was something about him in particular that made them want to pick him. I can't remember what it was, but he said it's not just about the brains.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really good acting from everyone on this one. But let's move on to cinematography. How do we feel about it? Because you mentioned earlier there was no CGI.
Yeah, didn't he say that there was wasn't a report that there was little to no CGI at all?
There was none at all.
So it's crazy. Like, apparently they used like real bombs or something like that for the nuke, for like the explosions or whatnot. I thought that was really cool. And there's a little flex. There's a little flex like the Marvel people in it, because it's like, you know, Marvel, they're always like, oh, we've used like 300 CGIs and all this stuff there.
But you see the trend and you see fashion. That's why I tell people, be careful with fashion. Back then, let's say, just because we did talk about Avatar earlier in the season. Yeah. When the first Avatar came out, that's when they was starting with CGI, right? The more CGI you had in your movies back then made the movies better, or made people to rate it a bit better, or it had this much CGI. But now, 15 years later, we're talking about the less CGI, the better the movie. So it's like you see trends and fashion. Like, 1 minute it's hot.
Marvel overkill, isn't it?
Yeah, 1 minute it's hot, and then the next minute it's like, we don't need this no more. So there's always time and space for everything. You know, don't just jump on everything because it's hot at the moment. Like, the fact that it's actually a flex, no CGI was used in this, it's great. I think the cinematography was done by, let me say his name right, Hoyt van Hoytema. Yeah.
He sounds Dutch.
He is Dutch.
Yeah,
he is Dutch. And he's worked with Christopher Nolan, I think, on 3 other separate films. He was in Interstellar, which came out 2014. He was in Dunkirk, which came out 2017, and Tenet, which was 2020. So you can see him and Chris are tight, and I think Christopher Nolan trusted him to be able to carry out the vision for this film. Yeah, like we said, he's never done a biopic before, so I think them two, because he's used to working with him, he was like, bro, I'm doing a biopic, get this done. And he did. And I feel like one of my not favorite part, but what helped, you know, when sometimes we're seeing grey and then we're seeing colour.
I was about to touch that.
Yeah,
so
the grey the grey and the colour showed us like the different times. It emphasised that to me.
Yeah, I just want to add on to that. Yeah, it just gave that 1940s feel.
Yeah,
you know, because imagine this film not having any black and white scenes at all. It's just weird.
Yeah,
because I remember like, you know, being in history class. Anytime we used to like see like videos of like the wars or the Cold War back in the day, everything's black and white, barely any colours. So they did well with that.
Sorry about that. I heard that the black and white was the unbiased kind of objective view of events.
Really?
Or Strauss's view. I've heard two things,
Oh.
and then the colour was Oppenheimer's view.
Really?
That's what. Yeah, that's what I've
I thought
heard.
it was time.
I
thought the grey
it
was us
time.
going back in time.
Where did you see that? Do you know?
I don't even know. Maybe I made it up.
But that's
Maybe
a good one though, because I guess they're coming like Spider-Man.
Yeah, like you know how they were doing that.
Yeah.
They took a leaf out of their book.
It's good though if that's the case, isn't it? Because
but I just liked how it was clear to me, because at first that isn't clear. 1 minute it's grey, 1 minute it's not, and then onto a while you say, oh wait, to me anyway, this is his past. It makes sense why it's grey now. So anytime a grey scene came on, it showed me this was his past, and I really liked the clear distinction between past and present. So I was rocking with the cinematography on this one.
What did you guys think of the Trinity test? That scene,
amazing. Amazing. I think a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I've heard a few opinions saying that it's a bit, you know, when there's a build up to something and it just, what's that word again? I don't know why I've lost the word. There's a build up for something. There's loads of hype, and then when it happens,
it doesn't match the expectations.
Yeah, what's the word? I can't.
I don't even.
There's
know.
not enough oxygen in me. I can't get the word. I can't get the word. But yeah, the expectation for it was a lot, and when we actually saw the scene of the Trinity test, it was like, is that it?
Yeah.
No way.
That I've had.
No,
not how I feel personally.
I heard some people in the cinema like, what? Like, I never.
Did you see? There's. I'm gonna send it to you lot. There's somebody that goes to the cinema. He's watching the Trinity test, and you know that's when it's dead silent when you hear it. The guy literally farted.
What? Someone farted.
He literally farted. Like, you know the scene where it drops and the whole cinema's quiet. Like he farted. It was so funny. Like if I could put the link in the description, I would. But it's hilarious. He was like watching Oppenheimer. My friend farts during the Trinity test, and it's mad silence. So that was that.
Whoever was next to him, boy, their nose was fine for their lives. Boy.
Yeah, but no, I did enjoy that for me, because it's almost like the film is about Oppenheimer, right? It's not about it's about the atomic bomb, but we're not focusing on that per se. So we're focusing on everything around that. I feel like if they did try to make more scenes with the bomb and more emphasis on it, then I think it does take away from the actual film in terms of what we're looking for in terms of Oppenheimer. So the way it's kind of skipped over a little bit after the scene, I'm okay with that, because I feel like it's a little tease of, this is what happened, but we're not going to show you everything. So that was okay for me. I liked it.
Like it?
Yeah, it was amazing. I literally took the words out of my mouth, bro. There's not much I can really add.
But then when, let's say if we talk about impact now, and people are talking about the impact of this film, I was reading an article in The Guardian saying that this movie was not a true reflection of the destruction the atomic bomb caused. You get a couple of scenes where we see flashes in Oppenheimer's eyes, where you can see there's like a woman. Did you see the woman? Her flesh was getting melted a little bit. Yeah, you saw a little bit of that, but the film said it didn't do the actual situation justice.
Bro, if they did it
down.
If they did it, this film would have been like 5 hours, man.
I've seen that criticism, but I will say that I feel like it kind of showed the Western, like American ignorance, that we don't even have to see the atrocities it caused. We're so American and Oppenheimer and the whole team at that time was so far apart. Now we know, like, what is it, 200,000 people died due to that. Now we know that, and now we've seen pictures and everything, but at the time they were like, yay, we've dropped a bomb, like, yay, we've done it. They didn't even know the destruction they've caused.
Yeah. And in the film, I don't know how we missed this when we were talking about the plot. It was almost a moment, I know we did talk about actually, the moment where it's been the Trinity test is passed, it's successful,
Yeah.
and it's like this little project has just been taken away from him, and it's like, yeah.
Oh, do you remember when he went in? I think he went into one of the offices and that, and one of the ministers was like, "Oh no, we got it from here, man."
Yeah, like
I was like, "What?"
Yeah, imagine something that you've been cradling, looking after, working on it.
That's your baby, you know, like
you know the ins and outs of it.
Anytime he was going in the classroom, he's always putting I thought, was that when he was putting the balls into the jar?
What was that? I didn't know what that was.
Was that like him? How close he is to completing?
I don't know.
It was that they needed. I might be wrong. Plutonium and uranium, might be wrong again. They needed that much, so I think there was another like power plant miles away that was, I don't even know, mining all this.
Okay.
All this element, they needed it to let off the bomb.
Yeah.
So that's what.
So the more that they were putting it in, the more they were getting.
They were saying this is how much we have.
Require. That would make sense.
Yeah.
That would make sense. That's some good research there, because I don't think you're wrong. Knowing those names of those minerals or whatever.
I'll be honest.
She's probably right.
I probably made that up.
She definitely
right. She's definitely right. It was actually good overall. Cinematography, acting, plot. We've touched on a lot. The movie was solid in my opinion. Do we got any numbers for us?
We do. So far, it's made. So its budget was 100 million.
Yeah.
So far, it's made 649 million worldwide.
649 million.
Yep. Its opening weekend was 82.5 million, which unfortunately did finish behind Barbie.
Ooh, what was Barbie again? Do you know?
Oh, I'm not too sure.
We'll be in our last review anyway. So.
Yeah.
It's the best opening weekend for Nolan's original films.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Batmans did actually do better, but for his original films, it's the 7th highest grossing film of 2023 so far.
7th.
Yep. Okay. 7th
that's all right.
highest grossing R-rated film, as for his said, and the highest grossing World War II film of all time.
Really? Already?
Yeah.
Already?
After, I think it's Saving Private Ryan.
Really?
And something else.
Shout out Saving Private Ryan. That was great. But yeah, one of my friends, she's proper into war films, like for real. So yeah, I'll tell her to go and see this, as this is the highest rated war film ever. But yeah, that's good numbers. Fizz, what's the people saying?
Depends. How do you want to start? Good, bad?
We always start with the good, innit?
We do.
No. But then no. We start. I feel like the vibe. We test the vibe. If we are gonna agree with the good, we go with the good second. If we agree with the bad, we go with the bad first. I think we're feeling good, positive things about this.
Yeah.
So we could start with the bad first, and then we finish on a good note.
All right. So, they gave it a 4 out of 10. And they titled it, "No amount of dramatic music or quick cuts could convince me I was being entertained."
Oh, wow.
He said, "God, what an absolute mess. To all the people saying you don't need to pay attention and have your brain fully switched on, that doesn't make this an intelligent film. It makes it an overcomplicated nightmare. Nolan's films have gone so far downhill since Dunkirk. The mess of 3 timelines is not needed for the entirety of every film. It works well for the majority of Inceptions, but the climax of The Dark Knight, parts of Interstellar, but this, no at all. Nolan desperately needs a writing partner that tells him no. This film would have been so much stronger with 40 less minutes of chatter before the bomb test, 30 minutes less after the test. I absolutely love long, boring movies. I'm a freak for Malik." Wait, this is not making sense, bro. What is this guy saying?
I'm a freak for Malik.
For Rami.
Malik, or can you? What's that? I can't even say that word there. You know.
Right card.
Yeah, let's go with right card.
Yeah.
But this, I would have left it if I wasn't with my friends. Nolan has a difficult time when directing anything slightly out of his comfort zone. The scene of Florence in the chair during the interview, you know that scene?
Yeah.
The overdramatic yells of Emily Blunt both had me biting my fist in cringe.
So he wasn't happy with that.
He was not happy with that at all.
I hear some of his points in terms of it just being.
Did you think it was boring?
I was about to say, I heard it was a little bit boring. It was.
It's because of the dialogue, isn't it?
It was the dialogue, the time, it being a little bit grey. It was boring. But boring is not always bad.
That's true.
That's what
I don't know. I can't think of another word for boring, but yeah, it was a bit of a slow one. I also say it's it's something that I'm gonna really enjoy rewatching in a year's time.
I'm
Now that I have all the
rewatch
knowledge
it.
that I have now, having researched the
Yeah,
atomic bombs and
of
stuff,
course.
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
absolutely love it.
You watch
But
it from a different lens.
If you went into it not knowing much like I did, there's some parts that was a bit like, oh,
Yeah,
bit boring.
yeah,
All right, and a good one.
yeah.
They rated it 8 out of 10. Titled it, "This movie is the bomb." Master craftsman Christopher Nolan, probably the best blockbuster director out there, along with Ridley Scott, returns to good old-fashioned no CGI drama, where tension comes from spoken words and how people react to them. There are no chases, no shout-outs, no death-defying stunts or explosions. I mean, there was, but yeah, no or explosions. Wait, actually, there was one explosion. Okay, I don't know how they made those scenes without CGI, but it's a technical achievement for sure. All shot in 70mm IMAX. What is 70mm?
No idea, but they were trying to get people to see this one in IMAX. So.
Yeah, no, they were really pushing for it. All shot in 70mm IMAX. This is a beautiful film. The lead cast, all seasoned actors, do a terrific job. My only problem is that it's a tad too long. The final act should have been trimmed, but it's still the best movie I've seen this year. I strongly recommend to watch this on IMAX screen before it's taken down in a month or so.
Yeah, see, again, recommending for it to be seen in IMAX. I can't remember if I went to an IMAX.
I don't know.
It's been a while, since I've been IMAX.
I don't know the difference between.
I would only really want to see something action-y in IMAX. I feel
like John Wick.
Like John Wick, something Marvel, but as like a biopic.
I mean,
then not really.
Because it has that, potential to be filmed with it. Yeah, I guess it's one of them ones that is worth watching. Yeah. But you just got to be ready. It is long. Yeah. And that's pretty much it.
So overall, what would we give them as individual ratings?
Okay. Well, I think I can't actually remember our leaderboard, so I might be ranking this really low.
Let me just tell you, refresh you guys' memory. So first we got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, that got a 9. We got Avatar: The Way of the Water in second with an 8.25. We got Creed in third with a rating of 8. In fourth we have John Wick at 7.5. Fifth we have Barbie at 7 with a rating of 7. Then we have Mario rated at 5.9, and then last we have The Boogeyman at 5.7 in seventh. Okay,
then I'm gonna go 8.5. I feel like I can't put it on the same level as Creed, and I enjoyed it. Maybe I think in the future I'll enjoy it more than Avatar. Yeah. And I think it deserves maybe an 8.5 for acting alone.
Yeah. So the acting carried it for you to
100%.
Fizz?
I gave it a 9.
A 9?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. For me, that's the best film I've seen this year, and the all-star cast. Cillian Murphy. Yeah. Cillian Murphy and Robert Downey Jr. for me was like what put it over the edge for me, because they were both so fantastic in this film. Yeah. Like, it doesn't get any better than those two, in my opinion.
No, I agree. Those strong. I would go with, surprisingly, I don't know if it's surprising or not, but I would go with the 7.1.
7, bro. Yeah. Hey, come on, son.
I'll go with the 7.1, not because the 7 is good. It means it was good.
This guy's so even Ash is like, what?
I'm Simon Cowell, man. I'll go with 7.1. I just felt like the hint of boring.
Wait, so you thought Creed was better than this?
Yes.
God damn.
Oh my God. When I say yes.
So for you, Creed is film of the year?
No.
So that's what you're saying, though. You're saying, though.
No. Because we're talking about, this is why I keep on reiterating to you guys. I'm talking about personal, not how it's viewed amongst other critics. We are critics.
I know, but for you think Creed is better than this film? For you?
For rewatchability, yeah, I'm going to watch Creed. I enjoyed Creed. I actually enjoyed it.
Okay. Forget the rewatchability. Just these two films, you still think without rewatchability, you still think Creed is better? You can't look at it.
What you're doing now is making it seem like it's bang on head to head. What film is better? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I enjoyed Creed more than I enjoyed this. I did.
I mean, that's fair.
You can't kill me for enjoying it. You can't kill me for enjoying it.
But it's like,
you can't kill me for that. This was a very good film, but it did have a hint of boring. After a while, it was just a bit too long. It was necessary, but I wasn't checking the time like The Boogeyman when's it's finishing, but it wasn't entertaining, and it wasn't supposed to be. It's a biopic of Oppenheimer's life.
Yeah.
And it did what it was supposed to do. But for me, it's a 7, just based off the rewatchability. I know you guys want to see it again and everything like that, but me personally, I don't know if I'll be seeing it again. Not because it's not good, but because it was 3 hours long. And, you know, for me to sit down and actually watch a 3-hour film is a bit difficult.
It's difficult.
It's a bit difficult. I'll be real with you. It's a bit
very
difficult.
hard.
So I'm going with a 7.1. If I add up all our scores...
That 7 hurting my soul.
No, that's...
Let's see what we got.
Hurting me.
He really is the Simon Cowell.
Overall, we got 8.2.
That's
overall.
shambolic. It should be a 9.
So on our leaderboard, we got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse again in first place with 9. We got Avatar: The Way of the Water second. These who hate me. Avatar: The Way of the Water second.
Spider-Man above this. Oh.
I actually did prefer Spider-Man.
I hear it. I hear it.
Thank
But in terms of like just the film, I hear it. I can't.
We got Avatar: The Way of Water 8.25 in second. Then we have Oppenheimer in third place with a rating of 8.2. Like Avatar only beat by a bit. Avatar 8.25.
Not too bad.
I will say I do like the fact that you're not letting like critics or best movie of the year.
Nah.
I like that you're not letting that influence you.
It can't influence me because this is personal.
It's not influencing
it's
literally.
personal, and I just want to think about how many times I'm going to go back to these films. Out of the films that we reviewed, maybe towards when we do our last episode of the season, we go into all of them and discuss generally how we feel about them again. But a lot of them are it might not be as great, but there might be different rewatchability ratings for a lot of these things. Timing is one of them, and if you have a 3-hour film, it's going to be difficult for me to. I'm not saying I would rather watch Super Mario. That's not what I'm saying. But it would be easier for Mario to get a rewatch. It might be, even though it's was our second lowest film. It might be easier for it to get a rewatch.
It's quick to go through.
Because it's quick to go through. This is more meaty and a bit more long. So that's why I've given it my rating.
I respect your opinions. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Okay.
you gave good reasoning, so I can't be mad.
Okay.
Who won Barbieheimer?
Who won?
For us, who
came out Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer, of course.
Oppenheimer, by far. I think Barbie. What did I give it? I gave it a 7.
I gave Barbie.
I can't even remember what I gave it.
Correctly.
Individually, I gave it a 7. Yeah. I think it got a 7 overall rating anyway, but I gave Oppenheimer 7.1, so it won by 0.1 in my eyes. But
it has smashed it out of the park in box office and whatnot.
Yeah,
it's past $1 million.
Yeah.
$1 billion.
Is it Barbie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just crazy. But guys, let us know what you think in the comments of our review. That's our review now done, now complete. Our next episode is coming out when? I don't know. To be fair, this is poor of me.
See. I just say just stay tuned on our socials and we'll announce when the next film will be reviewed.
Yeah, we'll probably put something out there for you guys to vote. Tell us what you're feeling, or we'll do something internal and we'll make a decision. But thank you so much, guys, for watching. See you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.